Today is Emancipation Day. It marks the day the British government abolished slavery in 1834. It also acknowledges the tragedies of the transatlantic slave trade, in which millions of African-descended peoples were enslaved or lost their lives. Manesa Dhanabalan joins us live with more on the events taking place today. Hey, Manesa.
Hey, Kelly. From coast to coast, dozens of communities are holding events to mark the day. Experts say it's also a reminder that more work still needs to be done. Today, August 1st, is the third annual Emancipation Day in Canada and marks the start of Emancipation Month.
That it is celebrating Black presence. It's saying we were here. We were here. We're a part of the history. We're a part of what built this city. We're a part of you, and you are a part of us.
Almost 200 years ago on this day in 1834, around 800,000 people of African descent who were enslaved throughout Canada and around the world began a path to freedom when the Slavery Abolition Act came into effect across the British Empire.
My great-grandmother was the daughter of a slave, and she used to tell us stories all the time ago when she was a child. That's how recent history that really is when you look at it. We weren't allowed to vote. We weren't allowed to own land. We weren't allowed, in many cases, to educate our children. We had no support about starting businesses. And in many cases where businesses were started, they were destroyed.
But even after slavery was abolished, it wasn't a quick change.
That when slavery was abolished, the people who got money were the slave owners. They got reparations, right, across the world for their ownership of slaves. But slaves were given a zero. And this is why it's such an amazing thing to see what Black people have accomplished in Canada and around the world. Because we have accomplished this on our own, absolutely no help.
But although communities have been celebrating the day for years, Emancipation Day wasn't officially designated as August 1st in Canada until 2021.
It should have been recognized a long time ago by our government, and it's a shame on the government that it wasn't done so. But thank you to those people like Laura May Lindo who pushed for this to happen.
Across the GTHA and Canada, many events have been taking place, like picnics, flag-raising ceremonies, and gatherings. Dozens of people in Toronto joined the annual Underground Freedom Train ride hosted by the TTC. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also attended the event. In a statement, he wrote, "Today on Emancipation Day, we come together to acknowledge the painful history of slavery in Canada and other parts of the world, and to recommit ourselves to building a more just, inclusive, and equal society for all." Experts say we've come far, but it's not enough. There's still a lot of work to be done.
So if you look across the full spectrum of social and economic outcomes, Black Canadians are not faring well, and it's not a result of our inability. It is about a result of systemic racism that traces itself all the way back to slavery.
Advocates say learning about the history through this day is important. It's a way to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. People can learn more by visiting community events throughout the month.